What's up, everybody? My name's Seth, and we are back in some more Trove Geode. Now, we are on the test server. I want to give you a big heads up about that, obviously, because the Trove Geode update is going to be coming out live June 26th. So we're going to all be able to access all of this beautiful new slow-paced content. Slow as a snail. More like slow as a slug. More like slow like a zombie, or something that's not even undead. Just completely dead. Because it's not moving at all. It's so slow to grind through this, like, seriously. But anyways, that doesn't necessarily matter, does it? Because today we're going to be unboxing 540 of the greater crystal caches. Now I'm going to insert a screenshot right here. This is what the Geode tab in the store is going to end up looking like. It's going to end up having the pinatas, which are extremely overpriced, and you can end up getting them as a free-to-play player by getting them out of lesser caches. It's very rare, but the fact is that there is a free-to-play option for it. But these greater caches are going to end up being a cache shop exclusive item. And they can end up dropping, some very, very good resources, not only just starting resources and end game resources for the Geode update. As of right now on the test server anyways, they don't really drop anything in the middle tier, which is very, very annoying and kind of makes it so that this, these caches aren't really that valuable. But they can also end up dropping silver companion eggs, gold companion eggs at the rarest, and then also lodestars, accelerate, and stuff like that. That's generally going to end up helping with the time-gated garbage that is in this game. I don't think that they can end up dropping metamatter, but we'll see what ends up happening. This is roughly going to end up being, I think it's like $360 or $460 or something. I'll try to remember to put some text on the screen after I end up looking at the screenshot as far as the credit price is concerned. But either way, it's going to end up being quite expensive to buy these. And the reason why the price is going to end up being a little bit different today is because this is 540 of these greater caches, but we're not actually seeing the glowing cache. So in the last store pack, you can actually see that you're going to end up getting a glowing cache, very similarly to the neon cache pack, like the greater neon caches. And that's going to end up containing a guaranteed rare item out of the greater caches, right? Jubbers is a freak. She likes barking at everything. So my point being is that this is 540 greater caches as if you were buying the 11 bundle over and over and over again instead of buying the 33 pack. So I just want you guys to keep that in mind, because this is going to accurately represent what it's going to be like if you end up spending money on this update. So let's see if we end up getting anything worthwhile. Dewdrops is okay. Daydrop again is okay. That's actually quite a big quantity. But again, these are going to end up being starting resources, so you can end up getting them fairly easily. Ancient Gear is going to be something at the end game, so that's not really going to affect us until we get to those later tiers. Blazine, only 19. That's actually really, really low considering all these other resources give you so much, especially because the ore is actually the problem with this update. Like, that's the thing that actually is so difficult to get, like that moonstone right there. Like, that's, they really should give us a lot more of them, considering they're giving us more daydrop. Like, the plants are very, very easy to get because they usually are all over the place. You can just mine them very easily and just move on, whereas the ore, it takes like 50 years to end up actually mining. And then on top of that, it's like, are you going to end up finding high veins for them and stuff like that, especially when you end up getting to tier 3 and above? Because if you go to a tier 3 cave, you got like 2 to 3 minutes of travel time alone. And then on top of that, it's like, you're not really going to end up finding that many veins. And sometimes you just won't find that many. You'll get like 50 ore in a run. And it's really, really disappointing and discouraging. It takes a very long time to grind it. Now, the other thing too is, unfortunately, same as the greater neon caches, these boxes suffer from the fact that they don't actually have a karma bar. So that obviously is the, the Tryon World's way of doing things, where rather than actually having a karma where it gives you a guaranteed rare, or where the game ends up rewarding somebody who ends up spending an absurd amount of money on this game, rather than doing all of that, we just throw that out the window for the sake that they want, like, this is considered rare metamatter, 3 of them. You can get that from Run Reliquary. Like, it's a lot easier to grind that out than it is to open these boxes. But my point being is that it's like, you spend such an absurd amount of money on these boxes, you really should be rewarded with a lot more items rather than just getting all of this stuff. And again, a lot of these resources are just starting resources. It's not really anything super fancy. There we go, 20 metamatter. Now that is a good find. That's a good one. I'll take that. Like that's not bad. But that's the whole thing is, again, it needs to have karma, because otherwise, for my personal preference, I don't really see a reason to actually buy these on the live server. Especially because like the greater neon caches kind of like they were a little bit disgusting, but at least they made sense. They ended up giving you a bunch of really cool costumes and stuff, and you could end up getting almost everything out of the resistors crafting bench by actually purchasing those boxes, right? Not to mention, you know, just all of the other really good stuff that you ended up getting out of it, which gave you tons and tons of mastery, as opposed to the Trove Geode update, which is very, very separate from the core gameplay. It's completely separated, and because of it, all of this stuff is, in a way, it feels like it's something pointless, because you do get mastery from it, yes, but that's pretty much it. And then you get geode mastery and stuff like that. 3 lodestars, that's not really, you know, I wouldn't spend money on that. It's especially when we get 1 as a common and then 3 is uncommon. Like, I don't think so. Silver companion egg, that's okay. I still want to see a gold one though, or something at least worthwhile. You should also, yeah, I was gonna say, you can end up getting the mounts out of these boxes as well. So this just goes to show how bad these are. And the glowing boxes potentially would end up giving you another egg, or a mount, or what? Because that's the thing too, is like, if you end up getting an egg, we're still gonna have to sit there and wait for a couple hours. Like, it should just outright give you the ally, shouldn't it? Or not the ally, the companion, I guess I should say. But I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of criticisms that I have about this update. And most of all, this is just to give you guys a bit of an example of, like, what these caches are gonna end up being like if you're a pay-to-win player. Because personally speaking, I don't think I'm going to end up going the pay-to-win route with this update. I don't think that it's worth it. You know, as far as my money is concerned, I'm going to save it. I think that it would end up being a lot more profitable to get credit pouches and sell those, so that you can end up getting the flux to end up actually just buying all of these resources in bulk. Honestly, your wallet is going to end up thanking you for that, because you're going to end up spending generally a lot less money. Accelerate, that's actually really good as well. You're going to spend a lot less real-life money to get yourself some in-game flux by selling those credit pouches, to end up buying these resources, and you'll be able to buy a lot more bang for your buck. You know, like, you're going to be able to drag that flux out a lot longer than buying, like, say, $500 worth of these caches, which is just, you know, ridiculously expensive considering the low amount of items that we've actually gotten out of these. And, you know, again, if we were just buying like the 33 pack, then we would end up having the glowing boxes, which does mean that we would end up getting, you know, a couple more guaranteed rares out of it. But the fact that we only got like, you know, a couple accelerate, a silver egg, 1 mount, and then, you know, some of the lodestars, not to mention the meta matter, which is okay, but for 500 boxes, you should really see like a lot more than this. Like, you should really be getting your money's worth. And this is where, you know, if you are 100% going to go the pay-to-win route, this is where I would tell you guys, straight up, do not buy any of the store packs. This includes neon caches. This includes dragon caches. None of them, absolutely none of them are worth it unless you buy the 33 pack. Because at least with the dragon caches, you're going to be able to either use the dragonite or just sell the dragonite. Generally speaking, you're going to get nothing but dragon coins out of that. And then for the greater neon caches, again, you're going to end up getting this glowing thing here, because the greater neon caches have the same garbage drop rate as this does. But the resistor update kind of felt like a little bit more in tuned with the rest of the game, whereas this just kind of feels like it's something separate. Like, it very much feels detached, you know? Like, this meta matter is only useful for this one area of the game, which is upgrading your modules for caving, and not necessarily going to end up helping you out in any other way, shape, or form. The only thing, too, is that the allies, or companions, I guess I should say, their only play style is going to be that you can use them as a style over your ally when you're out adventuring and stuff like that. And that's pretty much the only thing that's connected between these updates. But otherwise, like, over 500 boxes, no glowing boxes, over 500 boxes, and we got, you know, maybe 40 meta matter, which is nice, but it's not really like that good. It's not bad. 3 accelerate, and then 1 silver egg and 2 mounts. Like, that's a little bit disgusting. There's a little bit more accelerate. which kind of, you know, is a time-gated resource. And honestly speaking, I would have preferred if they had Lodestar's Metamatter and Accelerite in the cash shop. I would have preferred if they just had those outright in the cash shop. I think that they would have made a lot more money than with these greater caches, because I never want to go for the RNG. You know, I never want to go for the RNG. Everything I always tell you guys about Trove is, if you're going to end up spending money, go for the sure thing, which in most cases is going to end up being selling the credit pouches so that you can end up getting the flux, because then you're just going to be able to buy the resources and the items that you need outright rather than actually getting them out of the greater caches. Now, there is something to consider. Any of the mounts that you end up actually getting out of the greater caches are going to be tradable. The ones that you craft at the Crystology table will not be tradable, very similarly to the Resistors bench. Unfortunately, the silver and gold eggs won't be tradable. And near as I can tell, I can't 100% confirm this, but I'm pretty confident that the silver and gold eggs are only attainable from the greater caches. I don't think that you can get them caving in tiers 4 and 5, even though it would make sense and would have been a lot better. The only way that you can end up getting some of the rarer companions is from a bronze egg and using a lodestar. Quite disgusting, but let's just take a quick little peek right here. You can see my gas. So I'm trying to upgrade my gas so I can go to a higher tier, and you can see that those greater caches gave us plenty of build right, plenty of moonlit moss, plenty of crystals, plenty of metamatter, but it skipped right over sparksite and quarkstone, which is going to end up being the mid-tier items. Same with chronozoin, cogwine. For some weird reason, the greater caches skip over a big chunk of the middle in terms of the resources that you actually need, which is very, very disappointing, because it's like you end up getting a decent amount of these resources for the starting levels, and then suddenly you just don't really progress that much. Like you see with Gementite and everything like that, and the Moonstone, you can see clearly we're not getting enough Moonstone out of these greater caches if we can only end up affording one level towards the Pathfinder, right, or Path Painter. Like, it's just not something I'd recommend, guys. Like, if you're gonna go pay to win, you gotta go for the flux method, because you're gonna be able to buy all of the resources that you need on the player market rather than actually getting it from the greater caches. And thankfully, they do actually have all the ore being tradable, rather than it being something disgusting where it's like, oh, it's not tradable, so thus we want to make more money out of the greater caches. Like, that would be a little bit too forced in my eyes, right? I don't think you can end up getting the crystal pinatas out of those greater caches. Maybe you can. I think you only get the lesser caches, and then you could either just buy them out of the store, but that's not recommended either because they're extremely overpriced and expensive. But there are quite a few things that you can get out of those pinatas that's cool. Like, you get a lot of different styles and stuff like that. Including, you can get, like, there's a mount, there's hat styles and everything. There's also different auras that you can end up putting on your character, so it's kind of cool. It's kind of weird that it's all categorized separately, where you kind of gotta go into one menu and into another, and it's just like, I don't know, dude. It's just a bit of a clunky system going on here. But anyways, thanks for watching. Very much appreciate it. Hope that you enjoyed today's video. It was more of an experiment. I know that we're on the test server, but because of the fact that we're on the test server, I was able to make this video, because otherwise I am not going to end up spending the amount of money in order to end up getting those caches on the live server. Just no way, no how. Like, the neon caches was fine, but these things just feel very useless for me, and just feel very like they're not valuable at all, you know? So anyways, thanks for watching. Very much appreciate it. Don't forget to like, share, favorite, and subscribe for more daily content. And if you want to support me, you can always sponsor my YouTube channel, or check links in the description for my merch store, where you can buy this shirt and a bunch of other stuff, as well as a link to Gawkbox, which is where you can donate to me for free through sponsored donations. Sign on and stay up, everybody.